Hey guys, Angel here from Stitch is Awesome, and welcome to part 2 of Asagao Academy. Alright, we left off where Satch just helped us get our history book in the library, and now we're back. Alright, I settled into bed, eager to get started with my new reading material, but Mai was sitting at her desk, carving a pencil idling to the pages of a notebook. Every few minutes she released a long, drawn-out sigh as the lead of her pencil whined against the paper. I lowered my book and took the bait. Is something wrong, Mai? She let out another dreary sigh. It's about Jared, isn't it? I hope Jared notices me this year. I'm a boss. Sorry, I'm weird. Does Jared know you like him? My world around in a faint shock. I don't like Jared. Whatever. Oh. I closed my book and set it aside, deciding to play along. Well, have you at least tried talking to him? No. I mean, I have before. Why don't you try again? Like, have a simple conversation. That might be fun. She bobbed her head from side to side, considering this like it never crossed her mind before. Probably because it never has. Yeah, maybe I could do that. Satisfied, I picked my book back up. Have you ever had a boyfriend, Hana? Huh? Me? No. Never. Really? Never? Never. Stop rubbing it in, my... I bet you 10,000 yen that you meet a totally cute boy here and fall in love by the end of the school year. You're crazy. I buried my face back in my book, barring Mai from any further discussion. Well, fall in love by the end of the year? Me? If I were a betting kind of girl, I'd take that bet. I wouldn't. I awoke the next morning with what felt like a lizard in my throat. Mai was already up, shuffling through her school bag with an enigmatic grin. The first day of school. Hana, you're finally awake. Her voice sliced through the air like a knife, and I winced. She was definitely a morning person. I know I wouldn't like to be her roommate. It's time for the first day of school, aren't you excited? I can't wait to see what's going to happen. What do you mean? Is something special happening today? Something strange always happens on the first day of school, especially to someone like you. She winked. Someone like me? You know what I mean. Okay. She smiled and started messing with a pile of papers on her desk. Shaking my head, I got out of bed and pulled my uniform out of my closet. My palms sweat as I held the gold vest and blue jacket. Was it really possible for things to be different here than they were at home? What if the problem wasn't actually the school? I shook the thought out of my head and changed into my uniform. Oh, what is it? You look so cute. Really? Heat crept up my neck. Yes, completely. Your hair matches your uniform so well. You look like a flower blooming straight out of the ground. Thank you. Water stung the back of my eyes, and I turned to start packing up my backpack. Why was I getting worked up about something as little as this? I must have gotten less sleep than I thought. Is something wrong? No, nothing's wrong. I'm just happy. How dumb was that? I started crying at the first sign of someone being nice to me. I took a deep breath to steady my nerves. What an oddly menacing lot. Thud. All the air left my lungs as something like horse hooves slammed against my back. Er, You'll do just fine. Don't worry, this is going to be awesome. I stiffly peered over my shoulder. That was you? Huh? Mai stood behind me, her hand raised. Somehow she had the strength of a bodybuilder. Nothing. Crazy. I was just about to zip up my bag when I spotted the book Satch gave me lying on my nightstand. The Princess Betrothed. He said that if I ever needed to be transported somewhere far away, I could take it with me. It was pretty good so far. Maybe it would be smart to bring it along, just in case I had no one to talk to between class periods. Would I need it for my first day of class? Well, Satch was so nice, and I probably will need it, so I will take it with me. I put it into my already overfull bag, biting my lip. It never hurt to be prepared, right? You ready? Yeah, let's go. Stick with me and you'll be fine. Mai opened the door and together we stepped into the hallway, merging into a steady flow of chittering girls and fruit-flavored perfume. Oh my. Wow. I did not know we lived on the same floor. No, wait, really? That's so awesome. Now I'll be able to catch up. Whatever happened between you and... The river of girls shifted as we headed down the stairs. Suddenly I found myself surrounded by a bunch of people I didn't know. Oh wow, what a jerk he turned out to be. Mai's exclamations faded into the buzz of voices in the air. Oh no, what would I do if we got separated? Anxiously, I searched the crowd of girls for Mai, but I couldn't find her. Everyone was dressed in the same Asagao uniform. It was difficult to tell everyone apart, and being so short really didn't help the situation. As we turned the last corner down the stairwell, I saw a flash of red hair a little ways in front of me. Mai? I reached between two girls and tapped her on the shoulder. Huh? Oh, um, who are you? The girl's eyes flashed, almost like a jolt of electricity shot through them. Uh, I'm sorry, I thought you were someone else. She said nothing and turned away. Jerk. Before I knew it, I stood outside of Primrose House, watching the flow of girls disperse across campus. Mai was nowhere to be seen. I couldn't even hear her chirpy voice. Oh man. I took a deep breath, biting my lip. This wasn't a big deal. I could go to class alone. But I didn't even know where the building was. I reached into my backpack and dragged out my class schedule. Homeroom 206 Poppy Hall? Which one was Poppy Hall again? Weren't the classrooms on the other side of campus? I picked a direction and began to walk, trying to ignore my rising panic at the thought of arriving late to the first day of class. As a third year, where no one knew me, all of the people staring. Hey, you okay? You look a little lost. Someone called out to me, and I turned around, almost jumping for joy. When I froze. A Normal Boots jacket. He was part of the Normal Boots Club. I could practically feel my tongue swelling in my mouth. If this was a Normal Boots Club member, I had to make a good impression. He was one of the founders, right? Then he must be... JonTron! Yes, I'm new. I don't know where Poppy Hall is. You a freshman? No problem. My class is in Poppy Hall. I'll walk you there. Really? That would be wonderful. Thank you. Was this really happening? He began walking towards a large brick building in an enthusiastic manner, pumping his arms up and down like he was in some kind of show tune. I fell into step behind him. Blah. Anyway, I didn't notice it when Mai pointed him out to me yesterday, but JonTron had big brown eyes and a warm-looking face. He was basically a human puppy. I glanced up at him out of the corner of my eye. Eep! A bird. A bird on his shoulder. Birds always made me uncomfortable. Something about the ease with which they could poke out someone's eyes. Is something wrong? Why'd you stop? No, nothing's wrong. He followed my gaze to the bird on his shoulder. Oh, this is Jacques. Isn't he cute? Nice to meet you. That's so cute. It spoke? Yeah. He put his hand to his shoulder. Jacques jumped into his palm. Jacques is a robot bird, see? Hello. Jacques' eyes gleamed a dangerous red when he spoke, but nothing else suggested he wasn't a normal bird. In fact, if I hadn't known better, I would have said the red in his eyes was painted on. That's amazing. Jacques twitched his head to the side, examining me in return. The more he looked at me, the less afraid I was. What are you looking at? What? Nothing. I'm sorry. Yeah, Jacques can be a little sassy. Who are you calling sassy? I'm not the sassy one. I don't forget to feed you. Jacques, that was one time. I was alone and starving in the frozen tundra of this empty world. Loveless. Afraid. Ignore him. I've been bringing him with me to the drama club, and he's taken a little too well to it. I see how this is. Shut me out like I have nothing to add to the conversation. Jacques retook his place on John's shoulder, this time facing away from us as it miffed. We resumed our walk towards Poppy Hall. I'm JonTron, by the way. Call me John. Hana, nice to meet you. Hana? That's a cute name. Oh, but thank you. So how long have you had Jacques? Since middle school. We've been together for 4 years now. Ain't that right? I'm not listening. Yeah, well, I love him to death. I don't know what I'd do without him. It's seemed like life would be a lot easier without him, but who was I to say? We arrived at the brick building. A white sign surrounded by poppies declared it to be, unsurprisingly, Poppy Hall. Which room are you in? Room 206. Seriously? Yes? That's my homeroom. We're in the same class. John laughed and clasped me on the shoulder. Wonderful. I guess I'll be seeing more of you then, right? Right. Together we entered Poppy Hall. Poppy Hall was lined with fluorescent lights and Asagao blue lockers. The lack of students miling around in the hallway indicated we were a bit late. We ran up the stairs and made it into the classroom just as the bell rang. My heart caught in my throat. Thankfully, the teacher hadn't come yet. Nice. Instead, students clumped into tight pods and milled around the classroom, catching up on vacation news. Thank you so much for showing me to class, John. No problem. I'll see you around. Alright, just go ahead and ditch me. He waved and disappeared into the wriggling mass of students. I glanced around the room, looking for an empty seat. Hana, where the heck have you been? Jeez. Mai peeled herself out from between a cuddling couple. Was that JonTron? Were you just talking to JonTron? Yeah. I don't care about that. Tell me where the frick you've been. Mai's eyes widened and I couldn't help feeling a little smug. I realized I didn't know the way to class after you and I got separated, and he offered to walk with me. Mai emitted a highly pressurized squeal. JonTron walked you to class? Oh my gosh, you have to tell me everything. She grabbed me by the wrist and pulled me into an empty desk in the back corner of the room, right next to the window. I saved you a seat. I slid it in, took off my backpack, hooking it on the side of my desk. I was a little bit worried the books inside were too heavy for the bag to handle, but so far it held up well. Sorry we got separated, by the way. I don't forgive you. It can get a little chaotic sometimes. So tell me, what happened? What did he say? What did he smell like? Does he have peach fuzz? Is it rough? What? My reaction exactly? These are very important questions I'm asking. You need to answer them. Was his hair super silky or did it have the roughness of a dog's coat? Okay. Before I could answer, the door to the front of the room slid open and a tall woman strolled in. The class went quiet and obediently slid into their seats. My heart beat furiously, blood rushing through my ears. Good morning, class. The teacher's melodious voice swam through the room, calming the buzzing hive of students back from break. My shoulders relaxed and my fear ebbed away. I'm your teacher, Shizuka Wakihisa. You may call me Miss Shizuka. The emphasis she placed on the word led me to believe calling her Mrs. wasn't a mistake she would take lightly. Some of you might have noticed that we have a new student this semester. A hail of murmurs passed through the class. Some people glanced at me. Nope, there was the fear again. Would you like to come up and introduce yourself? I nodded, stood, and slowly walked to the front of the room, counting my steps to make sure I wouldn't fall. I faced the class, took a deep breath to introduce myself, and noticed a familiar face in the crowd. There was John, sitting with two other boys, wearing Normal Boots club jackets. One of the boys, the tallest one, was staring at me, the barest of frowns on his face. Oh, something about him seemed really familiar. Wait, he was PPG, wasn't he? The other founder of the Normal Boots Club? Suddenly all the strength left my knees. What should I do? Why was he frowning? Was it possible that I already made a bad impression on him? You had to be kidding me. If he didn't like me, what did that mean about everyone else? Wouldn't they follow his lead? I swallowed. The faces of the class began to congeal, forming one giant blob. You moved from Amaririsu, right? I nodded and swallowed again. Then, like a beacon of light, I noticed Mai smiling and giving me a thumbs up. That's right. What would Mai do in this situation? Yes, I've just moved here. My name is Hana Mizuno. I transferred from Amaririsu Public High School. I'm really excited to be here. I hope you'll all take good care of me from now on. I bowed my head to the class, and they clapped politely. When I looked up, PPG wasn't frowning, but he still seemed oddly confused. Maybe he always looked like that. Thank you. You may be seated. I returned to my seat, heaving a small sigh. The hardest part of the day was over. Or was it? I'm so weird. Shizuka began to talk about the standard procedure for the semester, the rules for classes, when homework was due, and that sort of thing. It was all very similar to my old school, and I spaced out in spite of myself. A brief flicker of movement caught my eye. PBG again. I glanced at him, and his head snapped back to the blackboard. What was his problem? Class continued on like that until finally the bell rang and it was time for lunch. Mai stretched her arms over her head and yawned. Man, I hate the first day of class. It's always so boring. Weren't you looking forward to it this morning? Something about exciting things happening? Well, yeah, but it already did. You met JonTron, didn't you? Now I've got nothing left to look forward to, she sighed. And I was hoping to see Jared before class, too. She slouched and fell across the front of my desk. It seemed like this would be happening a lot. Is Jared really that hot? Oh, wrong choice of words, Hana. Mai's head snapped back up, her eyes flashing. What did you say? I, if you stared directly at him for too long, your nose will melt off. I've seen it happen. Okay? What? Yeah. Anyways, let's head to lunch. I'm super hungry. Oh. I looked at my backpack. It held up well throughout class, but I worried that if I didn't take some of my stuff out now, I might do some permanent damage to it. No, especially with such a book in there. Dang it. I couldn't exactly afford a new backpack. I need to put something in my locker first. But if we don't go now, they'll run out of sesame seed buns. Oh. That's okay. I'll just go on ahead. Come find me, okay? Alright. I'll just ditch you for food. Whatever. I was so lucky to have someone like her as my roommate. Quick as I could, I went to my locker and shoved the book inside. As good a book as it was, I was infinitely happier that I had Mai around so I didn't have to read it. Oh. Without her, who knew what I would do with myself? Especially with PBG staring at me like that. Maybe I could ask her what was up with him when I met her at the cafeteria? It might just be the way that he was. Cheered, I headed for the cafeteria. I carried my melon bread through the minefield of people searching for the now familiar sight of Mai's red hair. Where is she? I couldn't see her anywhere, and there was almost no empty seats. All around me, students circled each other, laughing and joking, sharing bites of food and splitting the cost for sodas. Suddenly, I felt very obvious and very alone. Isn't there anywhere I could sit? Just then, I spotted a table at the front of the room. A lone boy sat at it, stabbing at his spaghetti with the vigor of a Roman general. He was having a hard time with it. I moved closer to him, working up the courage to ask to sit with him. Well, no wonder he was eating his spaghetti with a spoon. Wait a second. This guy was in my class, wasn't he? I saw him that morning at the front of the room. And he was wearing a jacket just like the normal Boots Club's, but different. A gold and gray jacket with an 8-bit block on the front. Was he a member of another club, or maybe he was friends with them? Hey, what? Hana! Oh, Mai! Mai appeared between me and the boy, who glanced up at us before returning to his spaghetti. Thank goodness I found you. I saved a table for you in the back. Oh. I looked at the boy, and then back at Mai. Well, come on. She grabbed my shoulder rather forcefully and pushed me to the back of the room. Hey, what's wrong? You are so lucky I got here when I did. That kid is Brutal Moose. His real name's Ian. He's from the Hidden Block Club. The Hidden Block Club? Yeah, the rival club of the Normal Boots. He's really weird. I mean, she looked around her to make sure no one was listening in, but we were completely alone in our little corner of the cafeteria. He speaks in Comic Sans. Oh, jeez. Whoa. Yeah, it'd be better to stay away from him. Especially since you've already gotten to know some of the Normal Boots guys. What are you talking about? I only just met John today. Yeah, right. I saw the way PPG was staring at you. He totally likes you. Really? Is that what you thought it was? Either Mai was blind or she had a serious case of wishful thinking. Oh, totally. It was so cute, just like my favorite manga. You meet in high school, fall in love, and then go off and fight aliens together. I don't think that's going to happen. Have some faith in yourself. That's totally what's happening. So, now that you're in good with PPG, can you introduce me to Jared? Oh, was that what she getting at? A hot flash of doubt seized me. Was it possible that Mai only liked me because she thought I knew the Normal Boots guys? That couldn't be the case, though. She was so nice. Still, looking at her shining and eager face, I couldn't talk myself out of the idea. I actually thought PPG didn't like me. What? Why would you think that? He was glaring at me. Man, you just don't understand. It's a love triangle. A love triangle! Wait, a triangle now? I can see it. Stars practically erupted from her eyes. PPG, I can't! But Hana, I love you. But my maidenhood. Where are you going with this? I slammed my fork into the table. I looked pleased with herself. Okay, okay, I'm just kidding. You're really cute when you blush. You almost match your hair. That's not fair at all. I beg to differ. Still, I searched my mind, eager to change the subject. That was an impressive scenario. What? No, it wasn't. I just made it up on the spot. I laughed nervously. Oh, so that girl who was talking to me when we got separated. I told the story of her past friendships with this girl, like they were eternal arch nemesis. Apparently they had some bad blood. I nodded, choosing to take the time to relax. Before I knew it, we were finished eating. We got up and tossed our trays together. As I headed towards the door, though, Mai hesitated. Hey, I forgot something back at the dorm. Oh, need help? No, I'm totally okay. I'm just gonna go get it. I'll see you later, though, right? Okay, see you in class. I waved, and Mai sprinted off in the direction of the dorms. Alone again, I crossed my arms and headed back to Poppy Hall. Alright, I think that's been a good episode for today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me if you want this thing to continue.